Hello learners, welcome to our today's lesson. I am Teacher Jonathan and I would like to pose a question. Where can we find angles in the environment? Where can we find angles in the environment? For more on this, join me in EasyElimu Learning Simplified to know more on this. And in our class for today, grade 4 mathematics, we are working on types of angles. Types of angles. And in our previous lesson, we learned how to identify angles. And these angles, we identify them even in our environment. Now, in our pairs, today I've come with a paper cutout. Paper cutout like this one. I have paper cutout with me. Also, make sure you have yours like this one. Make sure you have yours like this one. These are paper cutouts. There's something that I want us to do today. I want us to do something. Now, fold this paper into two. You fold it like this. Fold it into two, like that. Make sure you fold it like that. You have two sleeves. I open, but now we are folded. We have this sharp end. Have you done that? We are working together in our pairs. We want to fold it the second time. You can observe what I'm doing. Fold it the second time. Fold it the second time. You have something of this sort. This is what I have. Do you have something of this? Now, what can you observe here in this paper cutout? It has formed an angle. It has formed an angle. This line here is joining another line. This line here is joining this. So there is an amount of time in between here. Now, let me transfer this one on the board. Before we look on the types of angles, let me transfer this one. This one we have made it. That is what we had made. That is what we had made. This angle formed here. This angle formed here. We call it right angle. Right angle. The angle formed by this is called right angle. So this is a right angle. Right angle. This is our first type of angle, and I've shown you this type of angle. It is called right angle. Now, before we look at another type, where can you identify such angle? Where can you identify such angle in our class? Learners, now in our groups we can identify, in our groups we can discuss and tell where we can identify this. Yes, I will start with Jen. Jen, you can see that angle on our table. Let us trace it. That is correct. Let us trace and see whether it is the same. Good. That is the same angle formed by the corners of our table. This is the same angle formed by the corners of our table. So our table bears this type of angle, and we have called it with name. It is called right angle. It is called right angle. Another place you can see this type of angle. Yes, our abacus. Our abacus has the same angle. Good. Where do we find it? Where can we find this angle? We can try to trace it here. Good. This line and this line is forming that angle. So this angle formed here is called right angle. We can also make it stand like this. It is also forming an angle. This one downwards, it is forming this type of an angle. That is correct. Let us move further. Let us move further and identify anywhere else. Wangari, our board, correct. The angles or the corners of our board are forming this type of an angle. That is good of you. That is very, very correct. So this type of angle, we call it right angle. We can also identify further from our manila papers on the wall. They bear the same type of an angle. So there are so many places. Even the corners of our class, they have this type of angle. The doors of our class, the windows of our class, they have this type of an angle, and we have called it right angle. We have called it right angle. That is good of you. Now, number 2. This was type number 1. An angle. an angle less than this, an angle less than this, that is smaller than this, we call it acute angle. So this was type 1. Number 1. Number 2, acute angle. Acute angle, we have said, is less than right angle. It is less than right angle. We call it acute angle. Remember, in our right angle, we identified like table as this type of angle, the doors. We also identified the board, bearing the size of the type of an angle we had here, also the windows, among others. Now, acute angle, it is an angle less than right angle. An angle that is less than right angle is called acute angle. So long as the angle does not fit this one, we call it acute angle. Let us try. Using our clock face, let us try using our clock face. This is the type of an angle. Does it fit this one? It does not fit. It is a bit smaller. Or if I put it like this, it is a bit bigger. It does not fit well. So this one, it is bigger, but we need a smaller one, just a smaller. This angle formed here is not the equal as this one. So we call it acute angle. Acute angle. Our third type of an angle, we call it obtuse angle. Obtuse angle. Number 3, obtuse angle. Obtuse angle. This is an angle that is bigger than right angle but smaller than two right angles. It is bigger, angle bigger than right angle, but smaller than two right angles. An angle bigger than right angle but smaller than two of the right angle, we call it obtuse angle. When we are using our clock face, we said an obtuse angle is an angle bigger than this right angle but smaller than two of this. Now, this is one right angle. Here we can form it. This is a right angle that has been formed here. An angle bigger than this. Now, for example, we have just a bit here. Now, this angle formed is bigger than this, but it is not bigger than two of these. We call it obtuse angle. We call it obtuse angle. And then we have number 4, another type of an angle, we call it reflex angle. Reflex angle. And this type of angle is bigger. It's an angle. This is an angle bigger than. This is an angle bigger than two right angle, but less than 4 right angles. It is bigger than two right angle but less than 4 right angles. It is an angle bigger than two right angles but less than 4 right angles. Now, when we come here, the first quarter, it is making a right angle. Second quarter, which is making a half, is making two of these. Two of these, they form this angle. Now, an angle bigger than this, it is bigger than 2, like that one. Now, this angle formed here is bigger than 2 of this, but it is smaller than 4 of this. We call it reflex angle. The angle that are formed here, it is called now reflex angle. It is bigger than two of these. And I've said the first one was that quarter turn. The second turn, we had a half turn. Now, any angle bigger than these two, because these are 2 quarters, 2 of these, any angle bigger like that one, or we adjust again, it becomes a bit bigger, but it is less than 4 of these, we call it a reflex angle. We call it reflex angle. That is very, very true of you to understand. Now, I have something very key for you to note. Very key for you to note. 2 right angles, they form a straight line. 2 right angles form a straight line. 2 right angles form a straight line. 2 right angles form a straight line. That is very key for you to observe. 2 right angles make up a straight line. 2 right angles add up to or make up a straight line. 4 right angles add up to a circle. 4 right angles form a circle. Form a circle. 4 right angles form a circle. The first one, 2 of them form a straight line, and now the other one form a circle. Those are the 2 key things that you have to bear in mind. Today we have learned 4 types of angles: right angle, acute angles, obtuse angles, and reflex angles. And we have demonstrated how to make a right angle triangle using our paper cutout. The second one, we said an angle smaller than this. It is smaller than this right angle. It is called an acute angle. An angle bigger than this, but smaller than 2 of this. Now these 2, we have called them straight line. It is called obtuse angle. And an angle bigger than 2 of this, but smaller than 4 of them. 4, they form a circle. We call it a reflex angle. A task for us to undertake. Let us try work on this task. Allow me to rub from this side. Let me rub from this side. Now, task. Our task for today is label the following. Label the following. What are you labeling? Let me show you here what you are labeling. This is what you are labeling. Let me use my ruler to draw straight lines. Let me not use my free hand. Label the following. Let us use our ruler to draw. Label the following. What are you labeling? This is what you are labeling. Observe very well what you are labeling. I'm coming up with different angles here. Try to label them. Try to label them. Try to label these angles. Try to label these angles here with me. We have different angles here formed by these diagrams here I've drawn. Now, the first angle, I'll use a different color for you to identify it. We have that angle and we call it angle R. So label angle R. We also have this angle. we call it angle E. I also have this angle is angle B. I also have this angle here. I have another angle here. We call it, this line wasn't here. We have this angle here, angle C. We also have another angle here, angle D. These are the angles. So can you label A? What is the name of A? B, C, D, and E. Identify those angles from what we have learned today. And this is the end of our lesson. Remember, when you go home, try to identify, with the help of your parents, types of angles. These 4 types of angles found or formed in our houses at home. Don't remember to answer me when we meet in the next lesson.